Okay, so we said that the best way to understand calculus is to understand these two main areas. So you can have differential, then you can have integral, right? And we said that these two are the main ways that we can begin to learn our calculus. But then as a first step, we need to understand the differential. And we said that we learn it from limits. Okay, we start from limits. Once we understand what limits are, we can go to limits definitions. Okay, we can go to derivatives. Okay, derivatives, we learn them through limits definitions. And we say that we can also learn these through the rules. Now, these rules are a number. Okay, so we say that we can look at the power rule. Okay, we can look at the constant. We can look at the multiple. We can look at the sum. We can look at the quotient. We can look at the product. We can look at the chain rules. All these, if we can understand these rules, then we are able to do the derivatives. Once we become good with derivatives, then we become good with plus limits, then we can begin to understand. We can actually have a good understanding of differential calculus. Now, let's say that the best way to learn is to capture this and be able to capture that. The power rule extends to the constant rule, it extends to the multiple rule, and it's used in combination with most of these. So that is why it's very important to understand this one next. Okay, all important, but the next one to understand should be the power rule. So what is this power rule? So we can say let y is equal to xn. Okay, so now we have the power rule. We say that the derivative or derivative is going to be n. This n comes down. Then we have x, okay, n minus 1. This rule is supported by the constant rule. Okay, so what is the constant rule? Using the same, we can say that if, let's say, y is equal to c, and c is the constant, right? This is same as y is equal to cx0, isn't it? So when we're differentiating, we don't touch the constant, we touch the variable. Meaning that we can actually already begin to use this rule on this one. Okay, so we can say dy over dx is going to be, that 0 comes down the way it came down here, and then c x 0 minus 1, right? So this one gives what? 0. So the constant rule states that dy dx of the constant is 0. What about that of a multiple? Okay, what about that of a multiple? Okay, what about that of a multiple? Multiple would be, let's say y is equal to c fx, okay, f being the function. So we can say that dy over dx is, if this is a constant, right? If this is a constant, then this is going to be, we maintain the constant, we don't touch it, then this becomes a derivative. Okay, this can also be found because of this form, right? So if we know this, we know that one, and then we know this primary one, then we can work around derivatives using the power rule. But we have to know this one first, we know this one second, we know this one third, these rules, okay? Although these two can actually be obtained from this one, if you know very well how to use this one, then you don't have to really know this one and that one, because they naturally come from this one. Now, power rule and the other rules are shortcuts to this one. So the main question then becomes, why then must we use the limit definition to obtain the derivative if these are there? The question can be answered by how well you want to know things, okay? Let's say you are given options to own a vehicle, right? And they say that they'll either give you parts or they'll give you a complete vehicle, running and all that, okay? New parts, complete vehicle by the same manufacturer. Which option would you go for? So depending on what you want to know, if you went with the parts, you will obtain obviously experience, you obtain certain skills, that you can use for future, isn't it? Right? So you can repair your own vehicle, you can understand the inner workings of the vehicle and things like that. But if you've got a new vehicle, okay, the thing is that you save on time, right? You save on time. You also have high reliability, okay? The only problem is that you won't obtain the skills, the mechanical, auto electrical skills that you may need to, use in future. So you pay these people to help you out, right? Whenever you have a problem with the vehicle. But if you actually did it yourself, making that vehicle, you obtain all these skills. The only thing you're going to have reliability issues, okay? And then also time factor here, okay? That is the best way I can explain this. If you went with the parts option, you would have gone with the limit definition, which can almost obtain any derivative you want to obtain. This one is not every derivatives that you can obtain from it. So that's why you have different ones, multiple, sum, product, what. But already the 4 examples that we did, some of them were product already, some of them were quotient already. Okay, but we were able to solve them using the same method. It's just that it took more time. Okay, so really these 2 concepts are one and the same. It's just that one is a shortcut of the other. People saw patterns and they said, oh, actually what's happening is this, and then they put it into a rule. Okay, so to cut the long story short, let's know this, let's know that, and let's know this one for the next examples that we do. All the best.